to the board with us. So yesterday we were talking about the volume of pumpkin pies. So I was looking at the store. We've got this big Thanksgiving thing coming up pretty soon, and we've got to buy pies. And the question is, am I going to make pies? I'm not going to make them. Or am I going to buy pies? So I was at the store and I was kind of checking out prices. And yesterday we looked at the volume of 9-inch pies, 12-inch pies. But I also saw a 6-pack of 6 little small pies. You know, maybe I'll do that. So my question in the lesson today is, what's the better buy? My local bakery is selling some 9-inch pies. They're 2 inches high for $6. And they also have a package of 6 little smaller pies. They have a diameter of 3 inches and a height of 2 inches. And they want to know, and they're also selling for $6. That's convenient. I want to know, what's the better buy? Should I get the one pie, the big pie, and cut it? Or should I buy the little individual pies? So to do that, to find out which one is the better value, probably what I need to do is, I need to take that big 9-inch pie, maybe see how much the volume is of a slice that's 1/6 of it, and compare that with the volume of one of those mini pies. If I compare the two volumes, same size, 6 slices, 6 individual pies, I can probably determine which one is the better value. So here's my pie, and I kind of said, okay, it's 9 inches in diameter, and if I'm going to cut it into 6 slices, I probably would cut it something like that. These have a height of 2 inches. One of the things I started to talk about yesterday is, suppose I don't want to cut it in 6, maybe I want to cut it in 7s or 8s or 9s. I don't know. How would I do it? Would I just eye it and cut it? That's probably what we do. But I'm a math guy. I'm going to use a little bit of math to figure out how many degrees should those wedges be. For any circle all the way around is 360 degrees. If I wanted 1/6 of it, I would take the 360, or I would take 6 and divide it by 360 to realize that I need a slice that's 1/6, or 1/6 all the way around, which would be, this would be a 60-degree angle, and there's 6 of those that would give me 360. So if I wanted to find the volume of one of those slices of a 9-inch pie, we were looking at an equation that looked like this. If I wanted to know the volume is equal to pi r squared times the height. But then I wanted 1/6 of that. So I'm going to actually have to take that and divide it by 6. That would give me the volume of one slice. I'm going to use pi. Now, a 9-inch pie has a diameter of 9 inches. And you know that the radius is half the diameter. So I'm going to put 4.5. I'm going to square it. And the height of that pie is 2 inches. Now, my mom used to always make pies for Thanksgiving. Hers weren't 2 inches. But this one I saw was, I kind of measured it, it was 2 inches. And then I'm going to divide it. I'm going to divide it by 6, because the numerator is the volume of the whole pie, and I want to divide it by 6. So I'm going to bring up my calculator, and I'm going to punch those numbers and see what that is. I'm going to round it off probably to the nearest 1/10 of an inch cubed. So I'm going to turn my calculator on. I'm going to put in the pi value, and I want to use pi because if I don't want to just put in 3.14, because I've got other numbers that I'm using, this will make it a little more accurate. I'm going to put in my radius. I'm going to square it. I'm going to multiply it by 2. And it gives me a volume of what we got yesterday, 127, and I'm rounding it off to the nearest 1/10, 127.2. And now I'm going to change that from equal sign to those little squirrely equal signs. That means approximately. And I'm going to divide it by 6. when I divide this thing by 6, I get 21.2 inches cubed. So the volume of this thing is 21.2 inches cubed. That's the volume of my wedge that's 60 degrees, or 1/6 of that pie. Now what I need to do is figure out the volume of those mini pies. The mini pie had a diameter of 3 inches. Half of 3 inches is 1.5 for my radius, and it had the same little height. So my volume equation again, let's do this. The volume is equal to pi, my radius, squared times my height of 2 inches. And I'm going to put in pi, pi 1.5, I'm going to square it, times 2, and I get 14.13, I'm going to round that off to 14.1 inches cubed. So if I wanted to know which one's better, let's move this down. If I take a look, the volume of that 1/6 of that 9-inch pie was approximately 22.2 inches, and the volume of my mini pie, one of them, was 14.1 inches. So clearly, the better buy would be to buy that 9-inch pie and slice it. You get a lot more flexibility for that. I don't want a 1/6. I want bigger than that anyway. So that probably is going to work for me. I would say if you want to do things like this, what you want to do is compare them both. Actually, in stores today, they don't necessarily look at volume. They look at weight. Either way, you're going to come up with the best way to slice and buy pies.